Welcome back to Echo Trade. It's Jeff Roth, where we bring on professional portfolio managers to unpack market insights and simplify complex financial matters. Today, we have Degas Wright from Decatur Capital Management. You've probably seen him on CNBC. And today, we're going to talk about something a little bit different from 2023, where it was big tech heavy in terms of all the gains. We're looking at maybe healthcare as a profitable industry to look at for 2024. So we want to talk to Degas, get his insights. Let's dive in and chat with Degas right now. Hey, Degas, Happy New Year. It's good to see you.
Jeff, it's great to be on with you at this first month of the year. A lot of things are going on.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited about 2024. I mean, coming into last year, having these conversations with you and other people, it seems like there's a lot more optimism coming into this year versus, where we were last year with, rate hikes and fear of a recession, but with, the Fed kind of hopefully putting a soft landing and a lot of optimism coming into the new year. I'm excited to hear what you think. Obviously last year was, very heavily focused in terms of where the gains were from, 7 companies, primarily in tech, but I'm hearing a lot that the love can be spread out a little bit in 2024. And I remember we talked, a few months ago or a handful of weeks ago that, you guys are optimistic about healthcare. So give me kind of your overall outlook, kind of what makes you think that, and are you still, over the last handful of weeks and months since we last spoke, are you still looking at healthcare as a positive sector to look at in 2024?
Yeah, Jeff, we definitely are. So yeah, if we want to look at what's driving that optimism, is that one, we look at what we call expectations. And the way we measure expectations, we take the number of analysts increasing their estimates minus the number of analysts decreasing their estimates and scale by the number of analysts following a particular company. And what we're seeing is that the healthcare sector has significant positive revisions occurring. And so that's a driver that we've seen consistently. In 2023, we saw the movement in analysts increasing their estimates for technology, healthcare, and industrials. We're seeing that same trend happen into 2024. So we're positive about the expectations for healthcare. We also look at how does the macroeconomics of inflation impact healthcare. What we're seeing is that healthcare is less impacted by a macroeconomic such as inflation. So we're seeing that this could be positive as we go into this soft landing. Also, we feel that the global threats or global challenges have a lower impact on the healthcare industry. So these are all kind of very positive things we're seeing that could influence the appreciation of healthcare stocks into 2024.
Yeah, it's interesting. So some of the negative factors that might kind of impact, the other sectors in terms of inflation, rate hikes, macroeconomic or geopolitical events like the wars, going on overseas, not going to have as much of an impact on the healthcare industry. So, it seems like, correct me if I'm mistaken, last year was not a great year for healthcare. So are you looking for a really bounce back, or are people going to be able to get good value this year?
It could definitely be some good value, because what we're also seeing is that there will be a slowing down of the economy globally. Yeah. And so what we're seeing is that healthcare is positioned very well to do well in that environment. One of the things that we want to caution investors on, though, is that as the economy slows down, you still want to stay away from those healthcare companies that may have negative free cash flow. So you want to focus on those companies that are profitable, and that's how we're going to benefit in the healthcare sector into 2024.
That's interesting. So you're looking at a slower economy in 24, but you're not necessarily looking at a recession like, maybe was, forecast or feared last year. And even some people may be still kind of, afraid of that coming in this year.
Exactly. We looked at the World Economic Forecast, and globally, the economies will start to slow. And we're seeing that also in the US. So we're seeing a slowing of the economy, but once again, it won't be significant. And we will probably avoid a recession into 2024.
That's nice. So I'm curious, on this subject, and let's get back in it because I want to talk a little more about healthcare specifically. But in terms of a slowing down of the economy, what's your position? Because obviously the biggest driver for the last year, and everybody's worried about and thinking about, rates and what the Fed's going to do. What is your position, your thought process in terms of, we've been really pricing in and optimistic, the market in terms of having actual rate cuts coming in this year, maybe multiple. Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think the Fed's going to hold steady and make sure that they have inflation under control? Or do you think that they're going to be optimistic and actually start cutting rates this year?
Okay, so now this is always difficult when you make a forecast like this. But what we're seeing is that we're not confident that there will be rate cuts definitely into 2024. We're looking at late 2024, if at all, rate cuts, most likely in 2025. Because to your point, we believe that the Federal Reserve has done a good job. They have been successful in controlling inflation. We don't think that they're going to reverse course until they make sure that the core inflation rate is below target. And so right now we're obviously above target. And so we got to get that core inflation down below target for them to start easing. And so we're still seeing perhaps late 2024 at the earliest of the ease.
Got it. Okay. And then, so like you said, going back to healthcare, you guys are, preparing for a slower economy and hedging your bets on the healthcare industry to make sure, like you said, they're cash flow positive companies. But are there specific companies that you guys are looking at? Is there one or two that you kind of have your eye on that you're looking at for this year to have a nice 24?
Yeah, so exactly. So there's one company that, a couple of companies. One, I'll talk about a US-based biotech firm, Vertex. It has the leading cystic fibrosis treatment. Also, it's just been recently approved by the FDA for their sickle cell treatment that benefits from the genetic research by CRISPR, which is a Switzerland-based firm. And so we really like Vertex. Now, it does a couple of things very well. One is that as we look at earnings expectations, its earnings have been increased by the analysts about 13% since October. They also have, we're seeing them as a top decile company for future performance based off their profitability. Their profitability, they make 25 cents for every 25 cents of free cash flow for every $1 of invested capital. And also we look at their valuation. The valuation for Vertex is very good in that it's about a 4% free cash flow yield. So these are all very positive for Vertex. Now let's look at a possible company that is based in France or in Europe, and that's going to be Sanofi. Sanofi is basically a company that does treatments around inflammation, cancer, and also over-the-counter medications. For instance, they are the makers of Algera, and so which treats allergies. And their company is basically has a earnings expectation growth of about 4% since October. It has a profitability of around 18 cents of free cash flow for every $1 invested capital. And also it has an 8% free cash flow yield. So once again, another company globally that will be a good investment for healthcare.
That's fantastic. So love to hear it. Got the market outlook. I think it's going to be a good 2024, at least for the markets, even though, it might be a slowing economy, but that's actually a positive thing for inflation. But love to hear it. And I know there's a couple other companies that you guys are looking at as well that we're talking about, but, investors, if they want, they can look at the DCM International Dividend Strategy that's available on EchoTrade, basically copy, Degas, what he's doing in his own portfolio and the rest of the team at Decatur. Degas, always appreciate the time. Love hearing from you. Hope you have a happy new year and a wonderful 2024.
Same to you, Jeff.